Hello, my name is Mark Maeda, and I'm joined by our Ricardo Huir. This is our CIT 270 case project on the Cambridge Analytica data breach. In this presentation, we'll give you a brief introduction of the data breach, a summary of the events, a summary of the data breach itself, a discussion on the cultural impact, a conclusion, and then we'll show you our references. Cambridge Analytica is a United Kingdom-based voter profiling company that was hired by the presidential campaign of Donald Trump during the 2016 Republican primaries. To collect the data needed to create their profiling tools, they illegally obtained Facebook data on some 87 million users. This ranks among the largest data breaches in the history of the social media. During the 2016 Republican primaries, Cambridge Analytica secured a $15 million contract from the presidential campaign for Donald Trump to build voter profiling tools. These tools would then be used to create tailor-made ads to get people to vote for Donald Trump. To accomplish this, Cambridge Analytica purchased the data of some 87 million United States Facebook users from Cambridge University, which had gathered the data for academic purposes. The Trump campaign relied heavily on ad targeting built by Cambridge Analytica, and he went on to win the 2016 presidential election. Criminal charges have been brought against Cambridge Analytica in connection with the data breach in the 2016 presidential election. While Cambridge Analytica denies any wrongdoing, it is worth noting that they are also currently being investigated for similar charges in connection with the United Kingdom's Brexit campaign.
Okay, now we will talk about summary of data breach in Facebook. In 2015, Facebook allowed researcher Alexander Cohen to access his API for an app that, with user permission, collected information about user CDs, content they like, and additional information based on some other friends. The interaction between Facebook ecosystem and application. Many applications need to interact with Facebook. For this reason, Facebook has an API that allows access to some data route programming code. About this point, Cohen said, tens of thousands of companies have collected this data. The reality is probably every user, or nearly every user, has been collected many times by many companies, and Facebook has no accounting for where that data is today. About Facebook user information. For Facebook, the data obtained by Kogan route is application were for academic purpose. Route this application information about many Facebook users was obtained. By logging into this app with the user of Facebook was allowed to access the content where the user got liked, the city where he lived, and who were his friends. In total user is 87 millions. About information sold for Kogan sold this information to SCL Group, of which Cambridge Analytica is basically a shell. This situation exposed a loophole in Facebook API that allowed it to collect data from the Facebook friend of the quiz taker as well. Facebook prohibits the selling of data collected with this method, but Cambridge Analytica sold the data anyway. The last point is the deception. For user of this is your digital life, the application predicted our personality based in our Facebook profile and a survey that offered between $1 and $2 to users who connect with their Facebook account and complete their survey. Kogan hid that he had received funding from Cambridge Analytica, a data firm that paid him more than $800,000 in exchange for obtaining a copy of data obtained.
Although many of the effects of the Cambridge Analytica data breach are still being discovered and examined, it has some huge potential consequences. To discuss the cultural impact of the Cambridge Analytica data breach, we need to discuss psychographics and the value of private data. Psychographics is the methodology used to describe, predict, and alter behavior. Cambridge Analytica claimed to use psychographics to build the advertising tools used by the Trump campaign. The effects of psychographics on American voting is still hotly debated. If it could be proven that voter behavior could be accurately predicted and altered, the entire global political landscape would be unalterably changed. Critics point out that American voters tend to be most affected by political party affiliation than by any other factor. And while Americans voting with the party lines is nothing new, the Republican voter turnout was unexpected by both parties. The second part of the cultural impact of the Cambridge Analytica data breach is the price of our private data. To understand what the problem is and how this data breach could potentially change things, we need to understand something about Facebook. We aren't actually Facebook's customers. We don't provide any significant monetary contributions to the company by having an active account. Facebook makes its money through advertising. We're actually the product that Facebook sells. Specifically, our data is what Facebook sells. This was a thing before Cambridge Analytica, but this data breach has shown us three things. First, we as a culture don't value our private data. Second, being that Facebook has not adequately secured our data, Facebook doesn't particularly value it either. And third, since we and Facebook have devalued our data so much, companies and political entities have stepped up and shown that they are willing to pay for that data in the hopes of influencing our behavior. The Cambridge Analytica data breach has shown us that there is a market for our data.
So the conclusion for this Facebook database is that Facebook is expected to implement security mechanisms to avoid these security problems, in addition to evaluating its policy of sharing user data with Facebook application developers. Finally, as users, we must know that when we use a Facebook-related app, we must read with careful what information we allow this application to take from our Facebook data.
Thank you for watching our presentation. Here are our resources.